Well, welcome. Thank you, everybody, for being here. My name is Andy Wilkie. I serve as the Executive Vice President of Greater Mankato Growth. I am one of your moderators this evening. I am joined tonight by Jake Palmer of Radio Mankato and KTOE as co-moderator. I want to thank Jake and Radio Mankato for your partnership this evening. For those who don't know, Greater Mankato Growth is the Chamber of Commerce and Economic Development organization for the Greater Mankato region. Our membership includes more than 900 businesses, nonprofits, and public partners. We also operate Visit Mankato, City Center Partnership, and Green Seam. Our economic development work includes the Regional Economic Development Alliance, a partnership of 6 cities and 2 counties, all working together to promote the Greater Mankato region and grow the primary economy. Our goal tonight is simple. We want to give voters a chance to hear from candidates directly about issues that impact the business and economic vitality of our region. I want to thank you all for attending tonight. I want to thank the City of Mankato for hosting us tonight. This event is being recorded and it will be available online at greatermankatoelections.com. Now, before I address some housekeeping items, I want to let you know that Greater Mankato Growth is hosting a total of 5 forums this year. Our next forum is for Congressional District 1 on Tuesday, October 15th at 6 p.m. at South Central College. You can get more information on all past and upcoming forums, along with a voter toolkit and candidate biographies at greatermankatoelections.com. Now, I'd like to set a few expectations for our audience to help us present an engaging and civil dialogue this evening. We have a few questions, and we ask that you help us make the most of our time by holding your applause until the end of the forum, and that there be no shouting or heckling, especially of the moderators. This evening's format is as follows. Each candidate will be asked a question and given 2 to 3 minutes to answer the question. There are a couple of you, so I'm hoping that we can keep the responses nice and robust, and I may interject as needed. That being said, we want to hear from the candidates that are interested in robust discussion and getting their thoughts on issues, so it may take a little longer in some instances. Any follow-up questions or discussion will be at the discretion of the moderators. These questions have been put together by me and Jake, along with input from the Greater Mankato Growth Advocacy Committee. They have not been shared with the candidates. Lastly, some of you are able to submit some questions at the entrance. These questions will be delivered to me later and will be asked as time allows. All right. All of the candidates who appear on the ballot were invited to participate in tonight's forum. One candidate had a change in his schedule and was not able to be with us tonight. It is my pleasure, however, to introduce the candidates who are in attendance with us this evening. First, representing District 2, Vance Strumberg, and representing District 3, Mark Pipo. Please join me in thanking them for being here this evening. All right, we'll get things going here. Jake, the first question is yours, sir.
All right, welcome, gentlemen. Let's start with Vance. I'll start with you since you're right here. Very easy. Tell us who you are and why you're running for the Blue Earth County Board of Commissioners.
All right. Press the button for us. There you go.
I don't see the green light.
You're good.
Am I on?
Yep.
Okay. My name is Vance Strumberg. I have lived in the Mankato area for the last 45 years. 20 years ago, I retired from the Mankato Police Department after a career of 28 years in law enforcement. 2 years after I retired, I was elected as a city councilman for the city of Mankato. And 4 years after that, I was elected as a county commissioner for Blue Earth County in District 2. I'm now in my 14th year as a county commissioner for Blue Earth County. I'm married to my lovely wife, Mary. We have 4 children and 4 grandchildren that we adore lots. Don't get to see them enough, but as much as we can. I've been involved with all sorts of things in my career in law enforcement. I was a school resource officer, I was a motor officer, I was a child abuse officer. In all things there was media involved. You all had to, explain to the media what was going on with issues. I always got involved doing that. In fact, sometimes whenever the media got involved, the other officers would send me to go talk to them. In doing so, I got pretty comfortable in talking to other people. I've always been, you might want to say, an extrovert. I have not a problem making friends and talking to people. Even people that might not want to talk to me, I'll talk to them. And I've always been very concerned on how the government is running and to make sure that we have a good handle on, our budgets, our law enforcement. Obviously, that comes from my background, but our public safety. Being with the city of Mankato, I got to understand many things that happen within the city. And now being as a county commissioner, I'm seeing a greater picture of what's going on in the area. I want to continue the work that we have been doing. I believe we've had a very good board over the last 14 years. I've been blessed to have people that I can talk to about situations, not always agree with, but we always respect each other. And this is one thing that is not the same across the state or across the nation. People need to understand that they can disagree without getting upset. You got to be able to understand that's what the world is made of. And that's why I just want to continue the work.
Thank you, sir. Mr. People. Why don't you hit the button there? There you go.
Is that on now?
Yes, sir.
Says that's on plus side, okay. Yeah, my name is Mark People, and I've been a county commissioner, for be 16 years, but this last year. And I've been in political office quite a time. There was a part of the time when I wasn't, and I was devoted fully to our moving and storage business. And but because I'd been in the legislature and I'd been even a year with Glenn Taylor retiring, I took a year there, and then I've been on the county board for quite some time. I would say with Vance is it's a board, it's a good board. Changes over the years with personnel, but it's always been a working board and keeps things flowing, and with disagreements, but having agreements, and it works all out in the end every time. I think government closest to people is the best, and when you're out and about, you get people talking to you and stuff, and of course the biggest question I ever get, or I used to get, maybe now is what does a county commissioner do, or what does the county board do? And you think about it, as far as the services of the county, it goes from birth to death. All your records are kept at a courthouse. So anyway, it's pretty, but it's interesting. But it's your records for the county, and it's for the whole state in terms of each county has that obligation, and that's how that happens. And it's a very workable kind of situation to have, and to be involved with it as a commissioner. So,
very good. Thank you, sir. We're going to stick with you, if that's okay. We're going to talk a little bit about budget and taxes.
Okay.
Setting the budget and property tax rates is one of the most critical roles of the board. How would you approach balancing the needs to make strategic investments throughout the county while also minimizing property tax rates? What will be your budget priorities?
Okay. Well, budget priorities, obviously, of things in need. You have your public works, and you have, your health and human services. Every department has its duties and has its work and obligations. But now it becomes with what's happening with the Rapidan Dam and our County 25 bridge. We have to take care of all those circumstances with those two items, and we'll be getting obviously some aid from the federal government, and but we obviously have every time we do a budget, we prioritize, and we make sure that every dollar is spent well, and we are very, I think, conscious of not, it hurts me, like, in the sense that, yeah, we're going to go 6% again on our budget, as Vance knows how much fun this is, but it's truly needed with the circumstances and all the things we need to do to have the county operate in an efficient manner even, and then take care of all the obligations we have as a county. So, but anyway, that's my scope.
Sounds good.
on it.
Mr. Stuenberg, budget priorities for you. Press the button for me there. Thank you.
Button.
There you go.
All right, green light. Okay, budget priorities change in county government. As Commissioner People said that in June of this year that we had a historic flood that took out our area of the dam and the bridge right in front of it. Well, our budget wasn't figuring on that this year. We start working on our budget in May, and we have numerous, at least 2 or 3 meetings a month just on work sessions up until last month when we set our preliminary budget of 6%. Okay, so there's a lot of things go in. We have over 500 staff for Blue Earth County, which means we have different pay scales and different things. And of course, everybody understands that if you don't keep your pay scale up, they're going to be moved to another county. And we saw that where other counties would grab one from us, and we might grab one from them. And a lot of the reason is that they can live here and work somewhere else. We have an amazing highway system now, so we can go all sorts of places. But the county is set, in fact, our motto in the county is to effectively and efficiently deliver essential services. That's what Blue Earth County works on doing. And we have to do that and stay in budget, make it livable in the area, but still create a very good area for people to live and work in. This starts, just like Mark said, we start from birth until death, and sometimes after death, because those, people are looking at death certificates and everything like that. But if you can look at county government, is we have essential services. We have law enforcement, we have the court system, we have health and human services, public works. We have an amazing library that has more services now than we've ever had in the history of Blue Earth County. And we have one thing, so we have to make sure all these things are running well. We depend on our staff, we depend on the directors and then the people, and we try to make sure that everybody's treated fairly, and that's what we do.
Very good.
Thank you.
Jake, on to you.
So as we talked about, just let's move to economic development, because when it comes to economic development, our region values collaboration and partnership. And as such, our region has been celebrated as a national model for both public-private partnerships. So I guess we'll bounce back across over to
We'll stick with Vance.
Stick with Vance, okay, we'll stick with Vance.
Yeah, when there's just two of us, you have to.
Yeah.
We'll go back and forth, since his mic's already on. So Vance, I guess with all that said, what will your approach to economic development do to ensure our region is an attractive place to do business?
Well, one thing we have, and we thank the city of Mankato, the surrounding area, the greater Mankato area, in a state that has one of the lowest unemployment rates in the nation. Mankato has the lowest unemployment in the state. That's an amazing feat. And that's why we see businesses coming to Mankato and growing. This is something that, I mean, other states would just dream of having. And plus, the cost of living and everything, of course, is about the same, but we have a higher standard of living. In Blue Earth County itself is one of the lowest tax rates across the state of Minnesota. I believe we're 72nd in the state out of 87 counties, which is not such a bad thing. And this is what we want to continue doing. Now, for economic development, we work with the city of Mankato. We work hand in hand with the city of Mankato. We are consistently working for low-income housing issues and workforce housing issues across the community. And we keep on doing that. That's it.
Very good.
Oh, Vance did a really good job of through that. Yeah, well, you know, and we also have, like, with the not only with the city of Mankato and you know, even the smaller towns and so forth that are involved. Some of them have economic development, but you know, we have RETA too, the Regional Economic Development Authority, and then of course GMG. So we have lots of groups and tools and to use to help promote economic vitality and growth. And yeah, Vance really said it, well, it works because we get along. You know, there are, like I said, there are some communities that if they're close, they might spar and they get really aggressive, whatever, to take businesses from one place to another, even if it's not that far away. But here it seems to work really well, and with across the board, across the river, with even North Mankato, being that they're involved in the same thing with the Spear of the GMG and stuff. So it's a good community to work and play.
Very good. Thank you, gentlemen. We're going to stick with you, Mr. Peepo, if that's okay. We're going to talk a little bit more about something we had heard mentioned earlier, housing. So housing continues to be a major concern in our region. A housing study by the city of Mankato for our region recommended additional housing units at all levels throughout our region. How will you work to promote diverse types of housing and ensure housing developers are able to pursue projects in a highly competitive marketplace?
Well, yeah, we have the foundation for all of that. You know, we have the Economic Development Authority, and then you have the with Nancy there and all that with the city, getting the housing and finding some housing that, yeah, and upgrading, getting the finances to do that. I've been involved for quite some time with Partners for Housing, you know, ever since I got on the board, and that, of course, that takes more of your people, kind of like emergency shelter in the sense where they're out, down and out, and we take them in. When obviously the housing we have, it'd be nice to have even more, but that helps a lot in terms of them to get their feet on the ground and be able to. We help then with getting them to training they need, and or the opportunities then to get ahead. So, and hopefully find their own place at a time. Yeah, and you see what's happening down there by Mankato, by Cub West. Yeah, that's phenomenal what's happening, and that's a joint effort of both the counties and the cities. So.
Just as a quick follow-up, is there anything in particular you think the county could be doing more to help more development or encourage more investment in that housing space?
Well, we kind of think if we, yeah, I mean, there's always if we could get more, we're always there, and the city, and they're looking really well at trying to get other grants and so forth. It's a constant battle, I think, to keep doing that. And we could, and finding ways to build even, less expensive housing. And of course, we've made great leaps and bounds on that recently. But yeah, I don't know if you're thinking of like another pot of money offhand, but a pot of gold would be nice. But it's certainly changed a lot for the better. And then you could argue that there's more people now that seem to need housing that can't afford the housing. So that's why we worked closely with the city, and then with the state with some dollars to help make places affordable. And that's it's a challenge, but we have to keep pushing for it.
Very good. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Mr. Stuenberg, housing to you, sir.
Well, we covered a lot of housing already. I talked about EDA, RETA, that's already been brought up. Deed through partnership with the city of Mankato. It's interesting to note that sometimes people want to put the city of Mankato and Blue Earth County against each other, whereas we are strong partners. We work hand in hand in trying to develop the area. We have a different tax sources. I mean, we go with our levies and our issues, whereas the city's got a different tax issue. But we're concerned still on the same issues of taking care of the people within the city of Mankato, in Blue Earth County, in the greater Mankato area, because we love the people from outside that come in and shop here.
Agreed.
We absolutely love those people, and all you need to do is go and see your shopping areas, your Walmart, your Sam's Club, your Kohl's, your different areas, and you have people from all over southern Minnesota that are coming to Mankato, and this is very important to us. But what can we do to improve our housing is basically bringing out the issues and letting people know. I mean, we work as hard as we can to get the grants and stuff from the federal government and the state of Minnesota to get low-income housing, or you should call it workforce housing, because that's what it is. It's people that are working for $17.50 an hour need to be able to afford that small house or apartment. It's not like it was when Mark and I were much younger, and so we need to get those grants. We need to find them in the county, in the city, in the regional area, along with GMG, has that opportunity to know when those grants are going to come up. But we just need to have the people working on getting it.
Very good.
So as long as you mentioned workforce, Vance, I think that ties in nicely to our next topic. One of the strategic advantages that we really have in this region is that we're home to more than 25,000 college students at the 5 colleges and universities. We have to factor in, of course, the second largest university in Minnesota at Minnesota State. So as employers are struggling more than ever to recruit high-trained workforces, what more do you think we can do to keep more students in our region after they graduate?
I think The area is already doing a really good job. GMG is working with the businesses, and it's the private businesses that hire these people. You know, of course, a lot of students are coming to government and working for us, or working for the city of Mankato, or MnDOT, or whatever. But the majority are coming to work in the business, in the construction areas, in the different business areas around the community. And so we need to be able to work with those businesses to make sure it's economical to them to be able to hire more. And that's where the talks between us, between government, GMG, and the businesses have to work as partnerships to try to make this work together.
All right, Mark, what do you think we can do to keep more of these students in the region?
Yeah, Vance did a good job there to lay it out. We also have to just recognize in that as entities, government entities, that we have to keep our budgets intact and be cognizant that the cost of government and the cost of doing a lot of things, it goes up, but we have to always keep an eye on to stay competitive with with other communities in the state, even for I don't know, snagging companies or snagging jobs here. And we've actually done a really good job of that for quite some time, but we can't rest on our laurels. We have to keep working at that, and working closer then with the, like say, the higher institutions of education, and which a big part of, for a lot of it is, like the VOTEC too, is a big part. I think that all those things are there, and we've been doing that, the building blocks, but I guess we have to just try even a little bit harder and be cognizant of the tax rates, and that's, well, of course, in some of that's the state level, but anyway, that's part of it.
Indeed. Thank you, sir. All right, we're going to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart because I'm the father of 2 young kids. We're going to talk about childcare. I know you guys aren't dealing with that anymore, but childcare is the business that allows every other business to be in business. The number of in-home childcare providers is less than half what it was 20 years ago in Blue Earth County. Counties play a major role in licensing for childcare providers. How can the county help improve the issue of childcare in our community? Mr. Peepo, to you.
Yeah, that is a good question, and it's the constant thing to push for, and it's even more critical now than it's been. So that's definitely true, and we have where we're being that we're the outer the rural parts of the county, basically. And then working with Mankato, but we'd have to put our heads together and come up with some other alternatives or options. But yeah, I think with the tech school and stuff, they are, I think, a lot of ways a good blueprint to encourage a more workforce and getting and keeping the people here. It's a combination of just with the business community, the GMG, and with all the educational systems, and then the cities and the county.
Very good.
All the cities actually have a part in the rural too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mr. Schuberg, childcare. You're probably busy watching the grandbabies for childcare right now.
Well, my youngest just turned 13, my grandson, so we're getting a little bit out of that right now. But the county has a lot to do with childcare across the area, across the county. We had a program earlier that we would help with grants with people that wanted to open up childcare facilities across the county, and we had quite a few people that did that. I think it might be another time to look into that, to put grants out for people that want to have child care units, because child care is one of those things. It's great for the people that do it, but it's really hard financially. Not only for themselves, but to hire other people to come in, and that's where the hard part. I mean, how do you hire somebody at $20, $25 an hour to take care of kids you got to make it feasibly attractive to the people running the units. But yeah, I'd love to come out and tell you that there's an open and shut that we can figure this out, but it takes a team. That's again where the cities, the county, GMG, and the businesses need to work together, because it's the businesses that are hurting because the child care is not there. So everybody should be able to get on the same page and say, how do we fix this? How do we work this out? Many businesses run their own child care, and kudos for them for doing that.
All right, let's talk, you mentioned this earlier, Vance, so we'll stay with you about transportation. And counties play a major role in transportation and the infrastructure of that transportation. So what are your priorities for transportation investments?
Well, counties do a major role. Blue Earth County has over 450 road miles in Blue Earth County alone. And that isn't covering the state road miles. So we have some major investments. Another hiccup we have in Blue Earth County is we have the most river miles of any county in the state of Minnesota. Having 7 rivers in Blue Earth County, we have many bridges. We have 200 bridges across Blue Earth County. So when you think of a life cycle of an average bridge to be 50 years, that means we should be replacing 4 bridges a year. Bridges are very expensive. Okay, so those are big things. Also, we were the county years ago jumped onto the 0.5% sales tax, which helps us immensely. Brings in between about $8 million a year for our roads and bridges. And that 0.5% sales tax only goes to roads and bridges and transportation. So that makes a big difference. And the beauty is all these people that are coming to Mankato to buy their upcoming Christmas presents are helping us build our roads and bridges. In fact, I see a county commissioner from another county. I thank him for helping me build my roads and bridges in Blue Earth County. But it's something we have to keep an eye on. I personally am involved with many transportations, the Minnesota Transportation Alliance. The Association of Minnesota Counties has got a transportation and infrastructure committee, and I'm on that. And we just try to lobby for common sense, taxes and stuff to make sure that we have the finances to help counties across the state to build. Because, even though there's more people in Hennepin and Ramsey County, all of us rural counties have to get across, and we have our farm to market roads, which of course we covered that with County Road 29 down there by the Rapidan Dam. And that county, that that bridge will be coming down this fall because of our cooperation with the state of Minnesota and the federal government. That alone, we're going to be taking care of that as soon as possible, because if you think about the river, the Blue Earth River down there, and a farmer living on one side and having his crops on the other side of the river, and trying to drive a combine 25 miles, I've done that when I grew up. It's a long, long time. So we have to get that bridge fixed, and we're going to do it as soon as possible.
Has on County Road 29 bridge, has the county made a decision yet on if it will be replaced? Or is that still?
No, it will be.
Oh, yeah.
It's being taken down, and it will be replaced as soon as possible. You know, it all happens, of course, on the state and the federal timeline a lot. But our priority was to get the bridge replaced, because how important that is to that region and that area. To get that replaced, my little jog in there is to try to put a bridge in there that has a nice bike lane across it, because that's a nice area for I mean, we have a bike route that has been going through that area for years, and I'd love personally to see that. But of course, you have to work with budgets, and you got to work with other agencies to make sure that works out.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's
I wanted to follow up just to recap quickly. I'll turn my mic off. I wanted to just to recap quickly. You said we have 7 rivers. How many bridges do you say in the county?
We have over 200.
Over 200. And the lifespan of a bridge on average, you said, was?
50 years.
50 years, okay. I found that fascinating. I love numbers.
I
Weird.
did too the first time I heard that. Oh my God.
It's a lot of bridges.
And we don't have the most bridges across the state. I think, of course, you go up to St. Louis County and you got
Right.
whatever. But we do have the most river miles. I mean, but there's not, people don't understand that how many rivers we have in Blue Earth County. It's amazing. It's amazing.
That is
There's
amazing.
5 that run right into the Blue Earth River itself.
That's like a spaghetti mess sometimes. Mark, same question. What are your priorities as we look at transportation investments?
I think, yeah, Vance said it. Yeah, there'd be the same priorities. I was one of those in the early days when the state allowed us to opt in, for a sales tax for transportation. And yeah, that's when I found out how many bridges we actually had, a couple hundred, like Vance says. And we were successful getting that. And it obviously, costs keep going up and up and up. So, but it does, it really helped for infrastructure for the area, for our county, particularly with like Vance says, the cost of a bridge, doesn't even have to be a big bridge, costs a lot. So it's mighty important to keep that. I don't know. I think it's law. I don't know. I don't know if we can go any higher. I don't remember now percentage, but we kind of led the way. There were a lot of other counties that started to opt for that. But yeah, if we can find other tools, that would help. But it's definitely, yeah. It was a learning process, and a lot of people didn't know, like Van said, about how many bridges we actually have. But we used that at the time, and it helped to get it through.
Very good. All right, Mr. People, we're going to stick with you. We're going to talk a little bit about the business climate in Mankato and in Blue Earth County. Do you think Blue Earth County is a good place to start and operate a business? Is there anything that you would like to do to improve the business climate in our region?
Well, I think it is a good place, and maybe I've been here a long time, but it's really grown, and there's a lot more businesses, and there's and some and more heavier type businesses, industry. I think we're on the track. I always, well, in Vance, we kind of share that, you don't, as far as our levy limits and stuff, we try to keep them at a reasonable. Obviously, we got to take care of a lot of things, but we're very cognizant of that. I've always been very cognizant of the tax dollars and how they're used and spent and how we raise them, because well, yeah, you don't want to kill the goose to lay the golden egg. So, which is the business community and people, and then of course people, the jobs you get with a good work environment. So, it's sort of simple what we got to do, but then it's a lot of bit of work too. At least to get it accomplished and to keep the ball rolling, to always do better at. Maybe there's different tools we can use with economic development to prod and get encourage more business growth or more entities here with jobs.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Mr. Schoenberg, do you think that Blue Earth County is a good place to start and operate a business?
I think Blue Earth County is one of the best places to grow and start a business. I think we have an amazing amount of folks here. We have college students, like you said, up to 25,000 college students that are coming out looking for employment, looking for good jobs. And this is something we have. We have the engineering jobs. We have the doctor's jobs. We have with Mayo in the Mankato Clinic, and with, I'm thinking engineering because, of course, in county commissioners, we think of Bolton and Mink, we think of ISG, we think of, those type of things, and those are leading companies across the state. ISG started basically in Mankato, and now it's getting to be nationwide. It's huge. I go to the conferences. Like I said, I do a lot of transportation, and these companies are out there doing their vending, so I get to talk to them. Oh, hi, Vance. They're right there. But we have a great amount of people coming, and that's what you need for the business. We just have to make sure we have the housing to be able to handle the people, and we are working on that. That's one thing. Of course, it doesn't help when your interest rates are way up to build or buy a house, but I think the interest rates are coming down now too, and that's something we don't have control over. So, but we have to keep on working with it, keep on working with the schools so they put out people that are able to work in the workforce. You're seeing a lot more students coming out of South Central College that have a 2-year degree, but they are welding, electrical, plumbing, and I don't know if anybody's paid an electrician or a plumber lately, but they get paid pretty well. And this is the type of people that are needed. We need our college students and we need our workforce.
All right, well, as I'm sure our guests can tell, it's getting pretty tumultuous up here, so we should probably lighten the load a little bit, lighten the mood. Vance, what's your favorite thing about Blue Earth County?
Oh, man. Of course, I grew up on a farm. And my wife grew up on a farm. We're both farmer kids. And Blue Earth County is a farming community. I love the area. I love the farming. I go out and smell different scents, and of course I look at my wife and say, yep, smells like money. And everybody knows what that smell is.
Indeed.
But that's what I grew up in. this is where, I've spent my life in the, once I became a police officer and now a county commissioner, I spent my life in the city of Mankato and in other cities surrounding here. But I love the country. I love the area here. My wife and I just purchased a couple different bicycles. In fact, I just got one today. So we're going to be using the amazing trails that we have in the area. Whenever I go somewhere and people talk about bicycling, I say, you better come down to Mankato, because the Mankato area in Blue Earth County has got some of the best trails in the state of Minnesota. This is a gorgeous area. And we have not the farming, but then we have the trees and the valleys and the streams, and it's just beautiful around here. So I guess nature, the farming area, this is what I love.
Okay, so what was,
What's your favorite part?
a favorite
What's
part?
your favorite part of Blue Earth County?
Okay, well, see, I was phrasing it that I met my spouse in Mankato, so I call that's my favorite part.
Well
And,
done.
Good man.
Well played, sir. Well played.
Good point.
And I have a lovely family. I mean, 2 grown children and now 4 grandchildren. Although they don't live in Mankato, but they're close. But that's a big part. Also, I have a good-sized dog, and there are, like Vance says, there are lots of trails, and so we'll go all over the place. And it's just a beautiful, you go out in the country, you go. It's a valley. That's part of the beauty of it. So it's just a wonderful community to raise a family, and to move into here and then raise a family, and can help this community grow. So
Very good.
is that it?
Not yet. I haven't got any audience questions yet. Does anybody have a burning question they'd love to ask? Gwen? That's okay. You say it, and I'll repeat it back through the microphone so the folks at home can hear it. So.
Thank you both for coming, first of all, and thank you for your service to Blue Earth County. I've heard a lot of talk about Mankato. As a Blue Earth County Commissioner, I am wondering, what could we do to spur development and growth in our smaller rural spaces? I'm thinking smaller rural spaces like Rapidan, or like Vernon Center, or like Crystal. I drive through a lot of these small communities on a regular basis for my job, and I see buildings that are not currently in use. Are there ways that you can think of that we can be creative to put some of these businesses into those spaces, like childcare that you mentioned? Or are there ways to entice people to look at these buildings and spaces to redevelop them in those small communities to get some life back into our Main Street?
Very good. Mark, we'll start with you. And so the question is about sparking or promoting development in the rural parts of Blue Earth County.
Okay, no, it's a good question. We kind of touched a little bit on it before, Vance, and on that, but that's why we have Rita, and that's why we have the county. We try to help in certain times when we can with loans for small towns for certain things that, adding a different business or upgrading one, business. But it's a constant effort. You have to keep it up. And so kind of the balancing thing to make sure we don't have, get too, that we have reasonable taxes, so we don't price people out or, make it harder to start a business. But then we just have to find and keep looking for more incentives to help. And earmark and zero ins like on rural communities. And we do that with our present structure, but we could always do more. That's a good question.
Mr. Schumer, to you.
Well, you started with the small communities, and actually, when I moved into this area, I moved in January of 1977, which you were really young, or maybe not born at that time. But, yeah, probably. But I was a police officer in Lake Crystal, and I worked for different, as a young police officer in a small community, I did different jobs throughout the city at that time in Lake Crystal. So I understand what you mean about working in a smaller, what we can do. What the county can do is work with the economic development with their city councils and stuff. We worked with, like Rapidan, we worked with, because they had years ago, they had a really big issue with sewage. Obviously, they couldn't afford a multi-million-dollar sewage treatment, so we worked on how we could get that, how they could do their sewage across the city and still be of course, they're not a city, they're a village, but still be there. But roads is a huge thing, and we are constantly working with the small towns to help their roads and stuff, because if you have a terrible road throughout the city, that whole downtown area is just going to go away. And so the county works hand in hand with the different cities on their roads throughout the cities. We're constantly trying to do, we have a mayors and clerks meeting every month that we work back and forth with each other and give different ideas as to how we can assist each other. And these mayors and clerks you'll find every county commissioner in the county at them. We don't necessarily get all the small cities coming to them, but you'll find that we are involved. We are trying to make sure our small communities are doing well.
Very good. Well, gentlemen, you guys have been really good on time. I appreciate that very much. So Mr. Palmer has one last question for you.
Probably the obvious question. Why? Why do you want to be a county commissioner again?
Is that my question?
Yes, we'll start with you.
Okay. Local government in the state of Minnesota is nonpartisan. We are not Republicans. We are not Democrats. We are not independents. We all work for the city, our county, our township that we were elected in. Those are the people that give us our orders. Those are the people that we talk to. When I first started knocking on doors 14 years ago, as for running, people would ask me, "What are you? Are you Republican or Democrat?" I says, "I'm not." He says, "You have to be." I says, "No, because we don't take our orders from the Republican Party. We don't take our orders from the Democrat Party. We listen to the people in the county and take our orders from them, and then use common sense. Sometimes the orders that people want to give you don't have common sense, but you have to work that out." County government, like we said, is so well-rounded. It takes every aspect of somebody's life. There isn't a day that you don't do something that county government isn't involved. If I can some way lead that where people will have a safe way of driving home, maybe on a good road, or a sheriff's department or a public safety that comes and going to be there on time when you need help, If I can help that out, if I can help our sheriff's department out, if I can help our different fire departments out and police departments throughout the area, I want to do that. And I think that's where we get involved, because it's really a personal thing. It's not, we don't get into the big government issues, the federal and the states. In fact, the Blue Earth County years ago signed a form saying we don't get involved with issues like Second Amendment or abortion and stuff, because we don't do that. This isn't something that county government does. That's state and federal government. And that's what I like being here for. Thank you.
Thank you. Same
Well,
question?
to add on to that, let's see. That was pretty good, Vance. Yeah, it's kind of the government that the closest to people is, the best form of government. And I used to always say government governs least is the best, but I'd say that's really on the local level, though. You don't have a lot of fluff in the budgets. You don't have we stick to what our mission is, and Vance spelled it out well. And yeah, we don't get into the politics because, well, yeah, it's nonpartisan, and there are some counties that get that way if they get one group maybe that has more on their board, but we never strive for that. We look just to do what we can locally to make our area better, more productive, more a good place, a good solid place for families and people to work and prosper. So,
Very good. Thank you. Thank you to our candidates for the discussion this evening. Please join me in thanking them. Thank you to Mr. Jake Palmer of Radio Mankato and KTOE for your partnership this evening. Thank you to the City of Mankato for hosting us. Thanks to all of you for attending this evening. All of our forums are recorded and will be available online along with candidate biographies at greatermankatoelections.com. Thank you, good night, and don't forget to vote.